Scott Perry is the president and founder of Spirit Media, a marketing and consulting company, and he is with us this hour from Los Angeles. Scott, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, John.
Yeah, it seemed that for the most part, these hearings came down to pretty much the same thing, regardless of the tech company, regardless of the hearing. Lawmakers were essentially saying, hey, you've got a lot of control over a lot of stuff and we don't trust you. Again, here's Democrat Senator Sherrod Brown at one of the hearings which focused on Facebook. Here he is.
Facebook is dangerous. Now, Facebook might not intend to be dangerous, but surely they don't respect the power of the technologies they are playing with, like a toddler who has gotten his hands on a book of matches. Facebook has burned down the house over and over and called every arson a learning experience.
It was a good soundbite, it was catchy, but what seemed to be also here, common to all of this, is which was not said in the most part, which is we as in Congress have no clue what to do about it.
Well, you know, at least they air their concerns, and the committee, the banking committee, has a really firm grasp on how cryptocurrencies work. I was really impressed with the depth that they went to in regulation, how wallets are handled, how passwords are handled, interoperability between other wallets, allowing third parties to build upon the platform, how that information is shared, and plus how it plugs into larger things like anti-money laundering issues. So I give Congress massive kudos to this whole thing and hopefully striking a little fear in Facebook to really think about how their past activities are bringing in this distrust for this new endeavor.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, they had, to be fair, the Libra thing was sort of their forte. Everything else seemed to be a bit sort of muddied in the waters. It was sort of a bit, you know, they didn't know what the regulations should be. They didn't know whether, you know, they should break it up. Different senators have different opinions of what they should do. But the day began with the president, you know, tweeting about Google in terms of treason. This is what he said. Billion tech investor, and we should note in this Trump supporter, Peter Thiel, believes Google should be investigated for treason. He accuses Google of working with the Chinese government. A great and brilliant guy who knows the subject better than anyone. You know, he goes on to say the Trump administration will look into this, yada, yada, yada. But the reality is a lot of American companies are based in China and they do work with the government in Beijing. It's not an easy relationship. But what has Google done that stands out here compared to what other US companies may have done?
You know, I really don't know, but you have to consider the source from where all that came from. You're talking about Peter Thiel. I mean, this guy has a vested interest in Google's downfall because he does have a competing product in the form of Palantir, who provides big data to government. So, of course, he's going to stoke the fires and go, hey, man, check out what's going on over at Google, because he wants more contracts. But, yeah, if there is some fire there, if there's a smoke there, then check into it. You know, what has Google done with China, and is it any worse than what anybody else has done in the form of, like, any form of industry? You know, I mean, does Peter Thiel have a short position on Google? Is he, like, really trying to stoke the fire so Palantir gets more government contracts? This is something I want to know. But, yeah, everybody got grilled today for whatever their strengths are, which also pose a big threat to the future of our economies. You know, whether it's, you know, Amazon being too big and taking too much data from their own retail partners. You know, as yeah, I mean, Amazon has half of the market for e-commerce, but only 4% of overall commerce. You know, what is Google doing with all the data they collect? What's Facebook doing with all the data they collect? And, you know, what's Apple going to do with the data that they're holding on to, but refusing to give to local and federal government agencies in the name of privacy?
This also seemed to be an opportunity for Republicans to get out their grievances about this conservative conspiracy theory that Facebook and others like Twitter actively censor, and Google as well, actually sort of censoring conservative viewpoints. And that was raised by the Republican Senator John Kennedy.
Isn't it true, I really want your opinion, that Facebook has chosen to advance a set of values in which truthful reporting has been displaced by flagrant displays of bull?
I don't know how to answer that question, Senator.
Okay.
I don't know how you'd answer that either, but, you know, much of the motivation for these hearings, especially when it comes to Facebook, you know, is this belief among conservatives that Facebook and Google, they're out to get them.
They're all echo chambers. I mean, what you see on Facebook and Google is based on what you already consume. So they're going to, like, bring you more of what you see already. So, yeah, there are theories that, like, they may be dampening access to information for things that might be not so left. But is there a way to prove that? I don't know. How do you look under the hood? I really don't know. But I will give John Kennedy kudos for calling BS on this stuff, because in there is a kernel of truth about like, all right, can we really trust you guys to deliver, what we expect to be the news?
Yeah. Well, they continually say that they're not a news organization. They continue to sort of walk away from any responsibility when it comes to journalism, yet they are one of the biggest distributors of news stories on the planet. It's all caretaken, but no responsibility, I guess. Scott, good to see you. Thank you.
Always, man. Thanks a lot, John.
Cheers.